Hello everyone, this is Paratishi and this is Explore Media and welcome to this section. Today I have the privilege of speaking to a visionary leader who is reshaping the system of education across Africa. He is the CEO and co-founder of Gradeplus Africa with a strong commitment to helping young people to discover the right path and make informed decisions in their lives. And it's my pleasure to welcome you of Black Today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's actually a pleasure.
So my first question is, what inspires the vision behind Gradeplus Africa?
Thank you so much. I need to commend the Explore of social media because I did amazing work. That day far back as 2018, 2019, when I was done with school, I actually studied agriculture engineering.
Wow.
in So school was what brought me to Bomasho, right? So and then I was I was practically confused as a student as to what I want to do outside of school, after school. And typical of most students, most people who are in school just want to focus on grades and all of that. So I need that triangular like school, church, hostel. So until I left school and I started serving at NYC, and then it was in NYC I stumbled at this model called Ikigai, and then I got clarity that I was going to go into entrepreneurship, I was going to go into clarity for other people, I also going to go into education, but I didn't know where. But I started working in Innovilla after I left service, and that was actually, so Innovilla was actually pivotal in how we started Gradeplus Africa, because Innovilla is an innovation hub, and we had that moment where we have to brainstorm, just pick up ideas here and there and all of that. And what led to what we do right now was a single question, and that question is, why exactly do Nigerian students and professionals fail and are less productive? What is the root cause of that? And as someone who, because I was working as a program manager for about close to 4 years, as someone who knew that I was going to explore education, I was like, okay, this is something I should join. So I joined the conversation, and then we decided to research and all of that. And it interests us that it's a big problem. We had EdTech interventions in Nigeria even as far back as then. But year in year out to see JAM come out and say, student, this is the percentage of failure rates, why we say this is the percentage of malpractice and all that. Like, what is really the problem? So we started doing research and we found out that apart from the interventions that they are in the space, we have intervention in subject-based learning, we have intervention in learning management system, and past questions and all of that. The education system in Nigeria as at then had less than 11% of EdTech startup in Africa was focused on career clarity and cognitive development, and that's actually the game changer for us. Like, okay, this is something we can do, and as someone who already really are interested in clarity and education, I was like, okay, I think we are suited to actually solve this problem. So that was what inspired us. We saw a gap in this space, and we were suited because myself and my co-founders were like first-hand people who actually had the first-hand experience of what we are solving. All of us were practically not exploring what we actually studied in school, so it was like a pain for us, and then we had gone right and we could actually provide a solution. So that was very inspiring.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you for that. Like, just like I mentioned the other time, school was what brought me to Bomasho. I studied in Lautech, and when we started to see that this is a solution, because we were just trying to provide a solution, and not until 2020, I guess, where we had the opportunity to pitch our idea in some innovation challenge, especially we started with at Lautech here in one particular 1 year, because we were all professionals. I was project manager, have a designer, have that and all of that on the team. And then we decided to pitch, and then we won that competition. Like, there's something, this is a gap, this is something that fits some like solves a problem, right? And then this could fly. And then we were like, okay, should we just, of course, as of then I was even thinking of relocating. I just sit back in the commercial for a few months after service, like, okay, let me just see what Innovative Lab is doing, let me join the tech ecosystem and all that. Then after that, I'm dashing out. So, but after analysis, after quality time to analyze our problem and solution, we saw that the majority of people who will benefit from this problem are people in underserved communities, because quality of education is not readily accessible to this populace. Okay, people who are elites, who have the money, can access counseling, can access guidance, can access cognitive skills as far back as their primary and all of that. But majority of Nigerians who are in the secondary cities are not, they don't have access to that. So we see secondary cities as people who are our target direct or target audience that we can help with our solution. And then we decided to say, okay, let's stay in Emotion, let's start from Emotion. Let's try to impact the community here, and also take whatever we do here to the rest of the world, and of course major focus on Africa.
Gradeplus Africa did in 3 countries.
It's been an amazing journey actually. We officially started 2023. We had this solution back and forth, pitching all of that, when we were already ideation and validating our market since 2020. Okay, but until 2023 when we eventually launched out. I would say that the journey has been a bit here and there, and I cannot emphasize the fact the place of Innovative Lab in our journey. Okay, Innovative Lab was really helpful because it is not easy to build a tech startup here in Ogbomoso without support. Okay, we could have just taken our stuff to Lagos and then try to solve from there. Okay, but when we saw that this idea is something worth giving our time to, Innovative Lab decided to absorb Gradeplus Africa and incubate us. Okay, so that's where we had our infrastructure, we have all the tech support and all of that, and that was really helpful. Okay, and it was from there we built our product and launched out, and we've also leveraged social media, we've leveraged partnership, and with of course exposure that Innovative Lab actually gave us to be able to access that market, and eventually reach 10,000 user interactions so far in 2 years. So it's I would say it's not totally easy, okay, but the journey has been the one that we had a lot of support on the way. Yeah.
Now, what are some
That's, I think I mentioned a bit about building a tech startup is not easy, because you need resources. You need both. I mean, when I talk about resources, I mean intellectual resource. You need infrastructure. You need different kind of support. Okay, there are many things that goes into building a startup and a business. Okay, but and that was, I would say that would have been our limitation, except for the fact that we had Innovative Lab as an incubation hub that incubated us throughout our building phase. And another major problem we had was that, I mentioned the other time that we wanted to serve underserved community, but when we started out, we discovered that market adoption was not a thing. Education in Nigeria, in this part of the world, especially sub-Saharan Africa, could most of the time be treated as luxury, because a larger number of people just want to feed their bed, first of all. You want to focus on basic things. You want to eat, you want to have shelter, okay? And that is the bulk people's returns are going into that. Okay, so when we started to reach out to schools and parents in Ogbomoso, our host community, we had a challenge initially of adoption. Like, I beg, we are spending money on this, we are paying, like, what's the need for my child to excel beyond this? Okay, we are trying to sell the story that if your child find clarity, have career clarity as early as GS today, that's the latest you should be thinking about clarity. Okay, if a child do not have clarity as early as TGS today, you're already mismanaging their direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so as early as GS today, you should be able to know what is the next step going to SS1. What class category should I join? Is it science? Is it commercial? Is it arts? Okay, and then from GSS3 to SS3 should SS1 to SS3 should be now what course should I go focus on after secondary school. So all of this is what we're preaching, that we have a product. We built the product for almost 3 years, working with psychologists, working with learning scientists, and the team making quality research to create an African tailored career personality test that any African can take and discover themselves and find other Africans that have succeeded, that look like them, and then they can actually follow their footsteps, learn about them and all of that. Okay, and then we build all of these things, this is the resource, and we make it so ridiculous that you can just pay a token and access it. In fact, the test is free. As a matter, even on our website is free, but the full results, the results also free, but the full results is just a token. So, but we had that issue with, like, am I sure they have enough, like blah blah blah, all of that. So it was a bit rough start, and then after what we now did was to focus on the big market, okay, and deploy our products to the big market, to people outside of even your secondary cities and all of that. And then that was actually a major challenge, and that's actually one of the things that led us to a project we are running this year, Partner the Ogbomoso project. It's a project that seeks to give 10,000 Ogbomoso students free career clarity. Okay, so what we did with that was that, okay, this is the product we have. Our passion is to solve this for majorly underserved communities. But we have had over 10,000 reach outside of secondary cities in different parts of. In fact, there are sometimes that there are some countries that do well beyond above Nigeria in our user statistics and all of that. So, but we really want to do this to help secondary cities. And then we're like, okay, what if we have people who are well-known, who have the means, who are probably from this town, or even maybe not this town, or companies in the Ogbomoso that have that want to give back to the community. What if we have people like that? And then you come in, you bring the resources, we have the tool, we deploy the tool for students in the Ogbomoso, and then they access. And I think that's one of the best thing that one of the best ideas that came to our mind this year. And we're like, okay, this will really help. So that helped us to solve that problem of actual adoption in the secondary city. But what major problem? That would be our major problem, adoption in the secondary cities. But every other limitation as to infrastructure when we're starting, support and all of that, we had that sorted out by the lab.
What is the biggest mistake
I'm a career consultant. I tell people that there are about 3 or 4 reasons why people choose well. Number 1, which involves the parents. Parental influence. Very, 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 very unhealthy. Sometimes it's helpful because, of course, our parents are like protective. I want the best of my child and all that. Sometimes you can use that overprotection to actually kill the potential of your child. Okay, so that's actually one major reason why people choose that. You also have the peer pressure. Okay, what my other guys, my friends are going to do. Okay, and all of that, and then you follow suit. Okay, and then the third one is limited knowledge of available options. Okay, so limited number, limited knowledge of available options. Like right when we built the product, the career personality product, we had we run our model running was we ran on over 250 courses, possible courses approved by the Nigerian Education Board. Okay, and when myself when we did research, I was blown. Like, are you sure we have this much? And then I was seeing some names, some courses that I've never heard of, and I was like, and having with that students, if you are so vast, you may not know more than 50 after counting your fingers. You just can't be major on medicine, engineering, accounting, law, and all of that. And then I'm a lawyer in my country, all of that. So people don't know so much. So I've seen that the error, first of all, the students make is that they follow their peer, especially from GSS today. All of my friends are going to science class. I need to go with them. I cannot just be alone in heart, right? So that is one major mistake students normally make. And also students also do not ask questions. Do not do so much research as to what are the courses available, because I tell people you cannot become what you don't know. If you have never seen or heard about a plane or an aeroplane before, you can never dream of driving or of piloting it. Okay, so even if you dreamt of flying, the brain say you are done with witchcraft, right? So it's basically exposure, lack of exposure, actually affects students as well, and parents personally. This is my personal challenge with parents. Parents actually should step back sometimes. We had the first batch of Pathfind that we had here. We just completed the first batch last month. There's one lady that was personally interested in our story. So she came in and she said that I wanted to, and then the team got her ready and all of that. And then I stepped in and I was like, I want to ask you a question. What did you have in mind before that you want to become accounting? Why? She said, I don't even remember how I came about it. As far back as primary school, I don't know. I guess maybe someone must have mentioned it to her. Just like, okay, maybe there's money in it. Maybe accounting money. I was like, okay, let's see. Take your test and let's see what happens. She took the test and I told her this test is as true as your sincerity. So nobody's going to see your result. Just answer sincerely. If they say this is you and you feel that is you, answer. So she did that and then she got her result. And after the result was done, we saw that accounting was not anywhere. She was more the humanitarian kind of stuff. I was like, okay, what's wrong? Blah blah blah. Then, but fortunately, her sister came with her elder sister, so we invited her for a TED talk, small tech talk, TED talk, right? So we were like, okay, this and this. So she was like, actually, this personality describes her so well. This is her, and then personally for them as parents, they have been thinking, or as siblings and elders in and parents, I've been thinking that accounting will not fit this young woman by her personality. But we were like, just wanted to be sure, and that's why we took the step to actually come for this. I said, you are the best kind of parent I've ever met. So it's like just like give the child the room to explore. And parents should also seek for help. That sometimes you may not be able to answer all the questions. There's some, because children could be very, very, very annoying, asking questions that you yourself like, I'm not good. So just find something like, and sometimes children have many interests. So parents sometimes can even be confused. And the best way to actually just solve that problem is to force one on the child or that. So parents should also seek help, and that's why I think our solution in the market is actually very, very important. We're a business, but we have seen so much impact that gives joy to our hearts every single time we see someone making the right decision, just because of a tool. So it's something that I normally encourage parents. This test is free. In fact, I tell people, if you feel like you don't have all the money to pay the token that gives you free results, try the free version and just run with that and understand your children. So if a parent should say, my child, take this test, let's see what happens. And for Gomosho, indigenous or people living in Gomosho, The part-time promotion project is still on. It's actually an amazing project you take advantage of. You can register your child, and it's running throughout the entire year. That's the beautiful part. You are running in batches, and you can apply for it. Check it out on our social media. You see how to apply and all of that. Something beautiful.
Do you now see promotion becoming experience?
Yes, and this is why. Ogumosha is fast growing. Um, Innovate Lab, working in the lab had helped me see this even as far back as 2019 when I came back from service and joined the company. Because Innovate Lab is a very invested in community development. And then we're like, okay, primary cities like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt and all that are becoming overcrowded. Like, how can we foster an ecosystem in second cities that help people to actually thrive here? And between 2019 till now, I've seen Ogumosho become 10 times better. 10 times better, and it's still growing. So we are seeing influx of amazing people, amazing minds, intellectual, and as someone who is in the tech space, I've seen other education technology, education technology guys coming up. And then because I play in the entrepreneurship space, I also do startup advisory for people who are just entering into the startup space. So I've seen quite a number of them like, oh, you are in the education tech space, come and give us this. I'm seeing amazing ideas that I was telling my co-founder jokingly that this idea looks very great. Are you sure we don't want to adopt them? Just buy them off buy them off the market. But that's just an lighter mood. Okay, so like amazing things are going to happen in Ogumosho. Why? Because they were having the brains migrating to this town. And if you are listening to me and you think you have something worth building and you don't want to build a bustle of Lagos, bustle of those cities, Ogumosho should be your next point of call action. So Ogumosho is going to be very, very pivotal in the future of Nigeria and even Africa. So that's one. Second reason why I see that Ogumosho will be an education tech hub in a few years time is also because of the apart from the brains, the population is growing here. That means we have more children soon and more people that will now be able to use the solution that the edtech brains are now building. And what that does is that it validates ideas because the products now have a market to validate itself. And daily they can validate within the community. They can now scale it because there's a technology of scale. In fact, when you're talking about edtech, because edtech is not as creative as some tech space like fintech and all of that easily get investors. Okay, so most investors who are in the edtech space want to see you do stuff in your community. We have seen that in my company. I've seen that we have pitched places. We have even pitched to governments and all of that. Like, can we do something in your local community? Even when we got our first investment, so to say, it was because we had already been doing something. So I see education tech actually thriving when they are able to validate within their community. So now that we are having that already burden in Ogumosho, the community is growing, the brains are coming. So immediately the products are in the market, there is quick validation within the community, and then you can easily scale.
A young person in the
that answer is straightforward for me. Is take Gradeplus Africa percent test. Is so and very that's number one. And this is not because this is my product. If I wasn't doing Gradeplus Africa, I would still recommend this product because we built this product for the African context. It is so rich that you take the test only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete, and if it answered genuinely, sincerely, you have a result that tells you who you are and why you behave the way you behave, and then shows you your strengths and your blind spots, shows you people like you in Africa that you can research about, and then now give you the list of courses you can study in uni or even in second degree, they are going to postgraduate level, and then now shows you different career paths that fit your kind of person. And when it goes ahead to now also show you cognitive courses that will help you improve your personality to become the best version of yourself for that career path you have selected. So like courses like critical thinking, creative think writing, many courses on a platform like that. And then not only that, even after you have zoomed in on a particular career path, okay, for instance, I want to explore engineering. Okay, I want to explore accounting. Okay, we also have professional courses that help you to introduce you into the market. So more of like it's a one-stop shop. Like you have clarity, you find people like you also see cognitive courses to improve your mental capacity. Then after you are sure that this is what you want to do, then we have courses that introduce you to this space. So it's something that I would recommend and advise every young person to actually start with. And if there's any other thing I tell young people is also to speak to people. Yeah, I found out that in the especially in our generation, sometimes we want to do DIY. Just do it yourself and all of that. And speak to people. But if you have gone through the test and you still feel like I am still confused, then you should book a consultation. If you don't have anybody to speak with, this is also on our platform. There is a part on our website where you can actually book a consultant, speak to someone, and then the expert walks you through every single step of your career clarity. And even people who are career clarity already, but looking for, I want to develop myself. I want to have a career roadmap. I want to have career mapping and development roadmap. There is also a way for that. So any young person that is studying a professional, I would advise you to jump on Gradeplus Africa's product and to be very useful for you.
That's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing some valuable information and this is a small commercial. A huge thanks to Mr. Tolu. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, your vision, your commitment to doing family education. Now, we really appreciate that. This is a global show. Yeah. See you next time.